to Tenno Talk. I'm your host, Bad Gamer Elite. We're here and joined by I'm kidding, guys. I don't know what that was. Let me unmute my friends that were giggling in the background. What's up, you guys? It's Flurp. My sound is today. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We have a great show for you. We have a great game all the time. We wish we could get it, and we kind of do all the time. The intro, it turns out absolutely horrible, but we that was funny.
It wasn't that bad.
That was not for you. That was for us. Sam is showing us out right now.
It wasn't that bad.
Chill the crown.
That happens sometimes. Um, but we should be back. It should be coming back, you guys. Anyway, welcome to Gametography, the show where we start over in our intros.
All the time.
Every single now I'm blasting people's ears out. Every single time we start over in our intros because why not? We professional streamers.
Absolutely. I know I am.
Oh man, so hey, let's say hi to some folks in the chat. We got Disney Gamer. What's up, Reese? Skull is here. What's up, buddy? Cats and Bolt is here. Oh yeah, family all joining in. I love it. I love it. I love it. The day Lem starts a stream without an audio channel muted, I will donate $100. I didn't start with an audio channel muted today at all. Wait, no, I did. I muted them on purpose, though. That was on purpose. Does that count? Does that count? All right. Will's Toy Clearance. What's up, buddy? All my people from across the pond. Oh, also, James Goomba, who's not across the pond. What's up, buddy? How you doing? All right, you guys. We are going to jump right into this week because Rachel, our Lady Snipe Shot, has to leave early. And we have a wonderful special guest, you guys. Purple Flurp, king of all things Warframe Captura, is here. I'm so excited. So crazy excited. I'm almost as excited for that as to see Das Calvin here, and he's married now, you guys. All right, you guys. So, you know what we do. We got to check out what's been going on this week. Lady Snipe Shot, how was your week? What you been up to? What you been playing?
Well, this week was this kind of week and the week before. I just came off of a break.
Right.
First of all, where I missed the official Horizon Zero Dawn anniversary. But this week I've been playing, now that I'm back, I've been playing Horizon Zero Dawn a little bit, taking some photos in the game that got it all started for me.
Yeah.
It's been so wonderful being able to play with the photo mode again. It's funny because my style and my abilities have changed since I first started, and so I realized that I need to go back and play to see how, like, I'll be taking different pictures in it than I used to because just of the change. So, I think I've mentioned it multiple times that I have been everywhere on that map. My map is there's not a corner that this girl has not climbed around into with Aloy. I've been off the map before. Um,
Nice.
so it's I guess I stopped taking pictures in it because I had just been everywhere. So, but like I said, now that things have changed a little bit for me, I feel like I can take
What?
a fresh
Disney,
take on it.
hold on, I'm sorry to interrupt, but because you can't hear it in
Okay.
your ears, but I think you saw it in the chat.
I
Disney
do.
Gamer gifting that sub. Oh my
What?
goodness. Can we get some Jubilems in the chat, you guys? And here's the thing, because we are so caught on time, keep doing it, and we're just going to put the Jubilems in the chat, and we'll acknowledge you at the end. I'm not saying don't throw bits in and don't throw subs in. Just, we are going to acknowledge you at the end. What else goes on?
Well, still job searching, but that'll come with time. I can't wait to finally get into a new routine where it's more regular than mine is now. It's just I feel like once I can get into a new routine, then I can get back to focusing on, media and the things that I want to do with it. So I may still be a little bit sparse, not as frequent as I was before,
Right.
just until I can get settled. I feel very unsettled right now. But other than that, just been doing a little dancing and
Yes, you have.
being weird. Just my weirdness. But that's about it.
We
So
do love the snipe shot weirdness.
oh, I don't know. It's pretty weird. It's pretty weird. So
Oh man, Purple Flurp.
Yes. Hello.
And from now on, we're just gonna call you Flurp.
Sounds good to me.
We're on a schedule today. What's going on? What you been up to? What you been playing?
Been playing Warframe because they've been coming out with some new stuff recently. We got a mainline update, I think, like 2 days ago. So a lot of changes to weapons and how status works, and self-damage is gone now, so I can blow myself up all I want.
Ooh, yay!
Wait,
Well,
what?
hold on, wait, not on console yet.
No,
Wait.
I don't know. But soon you will be able to blow yourself up with no repercussions.
what?
Yeah. now
Oh
it's
man,
just,
the lighting.
Yeah. Can we have his Twitter link? A Purple Flurp. Yes, we can do that. We can totally do a link for Purple Flurp. Lady Snipe Shot, would you make sure you get that in there? Because otherwise, we'll jank it up
trying right now.
over here.
I'll try it right now.
All right, cool. And guys, we're gonna get to know Purple Flurp a little bit better here. So this week it's been a real busy week for me, you guys. For work and for play and all that stuff. Of course, on Monday, say it with me, Overwatch.
Overwatch.
You know.
That was delayed.
Yes.
That was delayed. Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right.
I'll be your echo.
Yes. But Lady Snipe Shot joined us for Overwatch Monday, and it was so much fun. And we just had a blast with it. And then on Tuesday, I played a little bit of the Division 2. I picked it up when it was on sale. It was for $3. I mean, worth it. Worth it. Like, in the first 10 minutes of me playing it, worth it. I picked it up for $3 on the Xbox. I picked it up for $3 on the PC. I picked it up for $15 on PS4 for extra stuff, and realized I didn't have to pay for the extra stuff because they ended up just giving it away. So I overpaid, but still love it. Wednesday, I continued on with was it continued on or started? Continued on with Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, and I have had so much fun in that game. I've been playing, and then stopping and doing some gametography with it. And I've been stopping in the cutscenes because you can change Chloe's face in the cutscenes. So
That's super.
I've just been having a blast with a series that I want to call Nadine Has No Time for My Foolishness. Because you play as Chloe in there, and you can make Chloe make some stupid faces. And Nadine is super serious. So we've been having a blast with that. On Thursday, we were playing that again. I did a bonus stream and started playing that. But where's my elephant? Exactly, Will. I got to the point in that game, and spoilers for anybody who hasn't played it, you get to ride an elephant. And I flipped out, you guys. Oh, it was so cool. And so we have I have a ton of elephant photos and fun on the elephant photos. So just so excited for that. Yeah, oh, cats. It was a blast. It was so much fun. Will's toy clearance popped in, and Sally Eddy and Word Knots, and then Rob and Queen Aphrodite came in, and we introduced all her friends and co-workers to all of these amazing streamers. It was a blast. And that was the day we hit what we need because of some amazing donations of subs. Stockwell and Tim Paulin and Disney Gamer. Amazing gift subs. We hit the number we needed to get the extra emote. And they are in. They are going. They're not in right now, but they're in to be reviewed. I hope to see them by next Tuesday. Oh, it was so cool. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And I want to thank you guys because for those of you who don't know, Disney Gamer and You Spoonie Bard highly suggested that I put goals in the chat. As a matter of fact, I'll change the screen just so you guys can see when I do the thing. Oh, we're glitching out some. But hold on here. Here we go. They highly suggested that I put some goals in what we're doing. And as you can see, we hit that sub goal. We hit the sub goal, and they said that they wanted me to have a PS5, so I need to put the goal in there for donations to get a PS5. So, so it's there because I made a promise. No pressure to donate, but I wanted to put it out there because I made a promise. And it helped with the donation, so we'll see what happens. All right. So that was my... Oh, and I went to a concert yesterday. I got to hang out with the folks from the Married... some folks from the Married to the Games community. They are one of our sister podcasts that we do Extra Life together with. The donation link doesn't work. Okay, I'll make that work, Disney Gamer. I'll make it work. I'm sorry. I'll fix it. See, this is why he's here, to help me out. But what was I saying? Well, you could do it in bits too if you wanted. If you want to donate in bits, that counts. We'll figure that out. But I went to I hung out yesterday with Gabe. For those you don't know, Gabe is one of the hosts for Married to the Games podcast. He also travels with a band, the Diverse City Band of Toby Mac. If you ever heard of Toby Mac, if you haven't heard of Toby Mac, I get it, not a problem. But he travels with that band, and every time he's in town, I get to see him. And I also hung out with Neebs. If you guys don't know Neebs, it's a Neebs on Twitch, and that it's ITZ underscore Neebs, Neebz, and he's a buddy of mine, and we all just hung out yesterday and played some Mario Kart. So, hey Jesse, Toby Mac is cheesy. I see what you did there. So that was my week. Let's do this, you guys. We've kind of introduced him, but if you have not checked out Purple Flurp WF on Twitter or Purple Flurp Captura on Instagram, take out your phone unless you're watching the show on your phone, and in that case, go to your computer and go look at these images. I post some Warframe images and they pale in comparison to what this gentleman does. So I'm going to let him take it away, introduce himself, and tell us a little bit about what got you started in Warframe and Captura. That's right, folks. We ignored the news. We're ignoring the news. We don't have a lot of time.
Okay, so I guess I started like a year ago, maybe like a year and a half ago now. I've played Warframe since like 2014, I think, which is like maybe a year after it came out. So I've been playing for a while, off and on, and I've always liked making my frames look a certain way. You can customize them a lot. The game is really good about that. A lot of cosmetics, a lot of them made by players. It's called Tenno. Players can submit their own designs and get them approved and put in the game. So I've always appreciated that aspect of it. But then a year ago, I started messing around with the photo mode and figuring out some things, and just keeping at it and doing it over and over again. And it ended up being something that I'm really passionate about. And
nice.
Yeah, it's a fun time. I'm very not good at expressing myself visually in like other artistic mediums. Like I can't draw, I can't paint, can't do anything like that. But this is definitely something that I've grown to really enjoy as a form of artistic expression.
That's awesome.
Nice. So,
now,
okay, go ahead, please.
I have a quick question in regards to, the photography aspect of it. Do you do photography in real life?
Not at all. No.
Nice.
That makes me so
I think that's
preless.
super cool. I know.
Oh my god.
Tell me what that word means.
Oh yeah, we gotta explain that word. Okay. So I had mentioned too that I am preless of Flurp every single day. There's not a post that he makes that I am not preless of. Just in every way. So Lim came up with that word. Will you explain it, Lim?
Yes, absolutely. Preless is where you see someone's work and you get to know them, and you just you love them and they're fantastic, and you're very proud of what they do and how they do it. Because it's just fantastic. But you're also a little jealous that you're not able to create what they can create or do what they can do. So, hence the term preless.
I get you. All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So we.
I may adopt that. Yeah.
Please do. We are preless of you, fine sir.
I appreciate it.
So guys, I'm putting all the links in the chat right now because that's all the news and promo and stuff links. So there you go. All right, so let's talk about Warframe. Warframe has a specific name for their for their photo mode, right? So tell us about tell us everything.
Everything.
Or okay, all right. Maybe not everything, but can you explain Captura? Oh, I gave the name away. Can you explain Captura and maybe give us some tips and hints?
Sure. So essentially, the game has different capture maps. I guess they're scenes that you can collect, and you can get them from a variety of locations. And what the photo mode lets you do is load into these locations, these scenes, and each of them is different and shows a different part of the Warframe universe, and it lets you have complete freedom with the camera motion, the the positioning, the angles, the lighting. You can basically take whatever Warframe character you create and have them do almost whatever you want and take pictures of them doing it. And I haven't really messed with other photo modes in other games, but I think from what I've seen, Captura gives you a decent amount of freedom when it comes to um, showing the aspects of the game that you personally enjoy.
All right. We're getting a note that you are a little bit quieter than the rest of us.
Can move closer to my microphone. Is that good?
Oh, that's much better. I'm seeing that in my readings. That's great.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries.
You're all good, dude.
All right. So as definitely a comparison to you, a Captura noob. All right. I think we need some tips and hints.
Sure. So I have a list here. I wrote down a list.
Okay.
Okay, so number one, consider every single setting in the capture mode when you're making a shot, because there's some that are obvious, like field of view. When you load into capture, field of view is extremely high, and it makes it so that if you try to get close to the Warframe that you're taking a picture of, it makes a weird fisheye lens effect, and there's like stretching that goes on. So the very first thing that you want to do is lower that to almost 0 to start out, and you can raise it and lower it as you need, but that's like the very first thing that you should do when you load in, just so that you can get a really clear picture of what you're doing. Besides that, things like filters, if you turn on color correction in the game settings, the filters let you mess with contrast, add maybe there's like a black and white filter you can use to dull things a bit. That's something that you can mess around with.
Wait. Say that again. You go.
So, if you go, if you have color correction turned on, which it's on by default, you can go to the Captura settings, and there are different filters you can. So I'm in Captura now, so I'm gonna set it to reference.
All right. So color correction. Okay, color correction is on. All right. Good.
So at the very top of the Captura settings, right under field of view, you'll see that it should be set to neutral. This is in Captura settings. And if you click that, it'll open up a menu with a bunch of different filters.
Captura settings. Neutral. Okay. Oh, and then there's filters.
Yeah. So you'll see things like cross-process, negative, lotus glow. Some of them are going to be more helpful than others in different circumstances. But
what's your favorite one?
I like to use cross-process sometimes.
Ooh, that's the one I put in.
I only use a bit. Like when you click it, it'll be pretty drastic right away.
Right.
But you can mess with the intensity. But these are a really good tool if you want to get a specific look going on. You can also mess with the depth if you only want to affect a certain area. So it's just something you can consider.
All right, so let's show people that. So, oh, there you go. Look at that, you guys. We can do that depth. Goes all the way out, not at all, to all the way in. Look at that.
I like the what is the shadow one? The black and white one? Yeah, edge of shadows. I think when you turn the filter depth down or change the filter depth, I think bring it up is what it is, and flip the reverse depth, I think that's super cool. Like when your Warframe's black and white and then you have a colored background.
Mm-hmm. You do a lot of neat things with these.
And I prefer that black and white versus the other black and white for some reason.
There's one that's just called black and white.
Yeah, it doesn't have enough punch to me.
But yeah, besides that, things like bloom should be adjusted like on a scene per scene basis. I know a lot of people like to have bloom like really high, and it'll end up looking pretty messy in some scenes because some scenes do not take well to it.
Mhm.
And the glow will be a little bit overpowering. So you want to
I didn't
try to
realize
adjust
that.
that. Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Hmm.
That's a good point.
like some scenes I'll have it at like 13%. Some others I can have it like at 20 or something because it's just different. That's another thing with capture. Like it's kind of a mess in a lot of different ways. Like you get a lot of freedom, but a lot of that freedom comes with learning how to mess with the quirks and like learn the nuances because it doesn't make it very easy for you starting out. Like the field of view thing is not an obvious
Right.
change.
Exactly.
That's something you have to learn either from other people or just a lot of messing around. That's why a lot of people's first capture is end up looking like really stretched out.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's something that
yeah.
folks that have played in other photo modes have an understanding of that field of view. But you're right. When you first jump into something, and say this is your first game you're trying things at. I talk about I do these workshops and I talk about skipping tutorials, and that you shouldn't. But there are some things that don't have a tutorial. So if it doesn't have a tutorial, you need to talk to somebody that knows. And Lady Snipe Shot was my tutorial for this.
That's one thing that is really good about the photo mode community, the capture community, is that people are really welcoming and able to help you when it comes to learning pretty basic stuff early on.
Right. All right, keep going. This is great. This is great stuff.
So number 2, use backgrounds with a purpose. So I wanted to like kind of like not just focus on the settings, but also like composition and things like that.
Oh yeah.
So when I'm looking for a background to frame my warframes against, I try to make it so that they stand out, but also kind of match up with what's going on in the scene. So when I set up shots, I tend to ask myself 2 questions. Is the subject visible, or is the background cluttering their silhouette? And then does my subject make sense in this scene? Because so to address the first one, some of the environments in Warframe can be really busy, like in the Plains of Eidolon scene, which is basically just earth and just forests and trees. There are a lot of things in the background that can clutter the silhouette of the subject, and it can kind of muddle it up. And the in-game depth of field is not good at all.
Yeah. Oh, you are so right.
It's so bad. It's one of the biggest reasons I use an external program called Reshade, because that gives you a much crisper depth of field. Because in game, if you try to use it, you'll get this weird glow blur thing around your subject.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's why it's like it's important to like pick your backgrounds with kind of selectively, just to make sure that the warframe is visible, and so, like when someone looks at the picture, they're like, oh, that's what I'm looking at. And then the second one, does my subject make sense in the scene? I guess I'll mention this later, but it has a lot to do with the customization and the fashion in Warframe. Like things can look really wild sometimes. Like you can make things that look like a technological horror. You can make things that look like a monster, things that look like an apocalyptic survivor. Like anything you can think of, you can pretty much make a Warframe that conveys that theme. And when it comes to backgrounds, I kind of like to match it up. So if I have like Oberon is like a very natural Warframe, very very much like in tune with the environment and nature.
I'll pull him up on the screen for everybody to see.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
His theme is very very based around like a druid or a nature paladin or whatever. And so when I make a fashion that kind of ties into that theme, I tend to want to put him in an environment that makes that evident, if that makes sense. So if I put him in like a Corpus tech ship thing, and he's looking all like tree huggy, it kind of that can kind of like, I guess, like break immersion, so to speak. So I like to have like cohesion, and the background helps a lot with that.
That's my biggest thing that I haven't like done yet with Warframe is any kind of themes. That's one of the things that I've always been just very like, man, he's got to unlock.
Yeah.
But I need to have more platinum so
Yeah,
I
Right.
can buy
That-
more armor.
That's another thing about this about the photo mode in Warframe is that to get more options, it costs a lot of money. Like
For a free game.
for a free game, it's totally free. I don't want to think about how much I spent for this free game just for the photo mode that's attached to it.
Exactly. You guys, we just want to put this out there. Warframe is free 99, and they're running a sale right now that it discounts at 99 cents. So it's just go pick it up, start playing around with it. Warning, spoilers, you're gonna spend money.
It's definitely one of those things where you start it and you're like wow, this is really good for a free game. Like this looks really great too. Maybe you'll just buy one cosmetic and then like a year later you're in the hole.
Yeah.
So how much have you and Justin spent on this, Lady Snipe Shot?
That's not a question that anyone wants to answer.
Yeah, we've bought a couple access packs for fun. But see, here's the thing. That this is my excuse. And I'm sure that everybody would use this excuse. Well, I love the game. Okay? I love the game. But also, the thing about it is, I like what DE does for the community. Like Tenno, for instance. Tenno, you can't buy with platinum it has to be purchased platinum that you buy it with.
Oh, is that true?
Yes.
For PS4?
Now, yes. Now, some of the platinum that you trade has been purchased platinum. I think
Oh.
it's something like that.
Okay.
But you can't like if you get gifted platinum from DE, you can't use that platinum to buy Tenno.
Oh wow, I did not know
That's really interesting. I didn't know that either, because for PC, you straight up have to buy through Steam the Tenno pieces. So like a helmet is $6 or a skin is $7. You have to just
Oh wow.
Yeah.
yeah, you pay for it right there.
That's
Well,
actual-
the way it works in PS4 is that you can trade platinum and you can like make platinum from people and use that platinum because a lot of it has been purchased platinum. But it
okay,
has
that makes
to have money attached to, like actual money value attached to it. But it's because the artists, they get compensated for the artwork that they do.
Mhm.
So I don't have a problem with if I find something that I really think is like gorgeous, because you'll find those pieces of armor and Cyandanas and things, and you're just like, oh, and helmets, and you're like, oh my gosh, I need this so bad. It looks so good. But it's Tenno. That's when I'll put a little bit of money towards it. And sometimes it's like, a $5 in platinum here or there. I try not to go crazy, but
or everywhere.
I try very hard too, but it does add up because there are a lot of really nice looking cosmetics in this game.
oh my god, it kills me how like just detailed and amazing these pieces are, and the armors. I love that there's so many different warframes, so many different weapons that no two people are gonna look exactly the same.
Right.
I think it's
Exactly. It's
Even
very
with
rare
the
that
even with the same frames.
yeah, exactly, because you have a different, totally different style. Even if you have the same armor set on, somebody's gonna have a different color palette.
I'm gonna go through, guys. I just changed to this is the same Warframe as this. Same powers, same abilities, but different skin. I can change helmets.
Yep,
Just
I love
the
Oberon's
helmets. I wish I played Oberon more because I would definitely buy some of these.
easily one of my favorites to play as, so I have no problem dropping a ton of stuff on him.
Yeah, you made me, Flurp. You made me get that Blade of the Lotus one.
Oh
It's
my
your
God,
fault.
it's so good. I
It's your
will
fault.
Gladly take full responsibility for that
Ooh,
one.
that is a
so
dope
good.
one. Look at that.
The
Oh,
helmet is incredible. The
shut
texturing, and
up.
the skin is.
Yeah, there's a lot of, oh man, there's so many new ones, and that's the thing. Like, they keep putting out new stuff, and
Yep.
it's so hard to be like, I'm never gonna buy anything.
And because it's the community is what votes for these cosmetics to go into the game, you're like generally going to get stuff that looks decent.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's actually in the latest Tennogen round that got accepted, Oberon got yet another skin.
Oh,
And it's
no.
by a really really great artist called Hitsu-san. He's made some really amazing skins, and this is no different. And I'm definitely gonna pick it up.
I love Faven's work. I love Grax.
Oh my god, yes, Grax is so good. The texturing and the designs, he's a god.
Oh, the Maestra skin for.
You can't look, if you don't want to spend money, don't look at the cosmetics. Just
Yeah, you
don't.
can't.
Just stay away from it.
The slippery
You'll be
slope.
like, how do I get this? No, you can now. There are ways to get it where you don't have to pay money.
Yes,
You
but-
can collect items and trade them for platinum. So don't think you just have to pay to get things.
Right.
Yeah,
There's
you don't-
ways around it.
I have no patience
Um,
and no chill, so.
On PC, we have to pay actual money. We can't buy Tennogen with platinum, so it's
Can you get the
The regular.
the regular skins and cosmetics and
deluxe
stuff?
skins. Anything that
Yeah, that's one.
yeah, any deluxe skin we can buy with platinum. Tennogen's really the only outlier there.
Yeah.
I
I
threw up Octavia
love the
because
deluxe skins
Cats and
lately,
Bolts. Cats and Bolts said that she missed her Octavia, so I threw
Octavia.
Octavia up for her.
that last one, that Maestra, looks really good with your color palette, by the way.
I know.
We're gonna see. That one's a deluxe skin, so you can save that one for a coupon.
But you know.
I love coupons too, by the way.
I might not.
I don't get those either.
You should, because you
No.
can get that one on sale.
They don't get coupons on PC.
It's fine. We do get Tennogen earlier, so I'm willing to get it.
Oh, you guys
faster.
don't get coupons?
No, we don't get. We get platinum discounts as login bonuses. So if we wanted to go to the store and buy platinum, we might get like a percentage discount.
So
Oh,
there
now, are you
differences
Prellis?
between-
I'm absolutely. that is absolutely the biggest draw when it comes to the console.
The Tron version of the Octavia frame. What? Is a Tron version of Octavia? What's she talking about? Hold on.
It's Cat's. Cat has this skin.
What Tron? I've got. Oh, the Diva skin, is it? Oh, I don't want to
Yeah,
purchase.
it's a.
Oh. Look at
Yeah,
you.
the Diva skin is probably my favorite of hers. I have it, but I haven't been able to make anything that I like with it.
I love Octavia, but I get shy playing Octavia.
That Maestra skin. Oh, if I played her more, I would own that.
No, I know
For
you
sure.
don't that.
It's always hard when people ask like, what's like the best Tennogen to buy? What should I get? Because it's like for me, it's like if I think something looks good, I'm gonna pick it up. But if someone like a layman doesn't play that Warframe, I'm not gonna tell them to get a skin for it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely not.
That's how I've been choosing my skins. Is...
Yeah, that makes way more sense than I buy skins for frames that I never touch because I think that they look good. Like Nyx is one of them. I have so many of her cosmetics because she's a gorgeous looking Warframe.
See if I
Yeah,
have Nyx.
yeah.
I have to
You
have
do
Nyx.
have some
Oh, I've
beautiful
got it.
shots of her.
I got a Nyx.
By the way, I love how you have managed to somehow get them on that floaty. It kills me.
Yeah, that was fun. Wisp's animations can make the Warframe float. So with like camera finagling, you can get them to like sit on objects.
Yeah,
Nice.
that is just like super. Like when I saw the one of Nick sitting on the edge of the floaty, I'm like, oh my god, how did he do that? It's like I never
Alright.
thought about that.
Okay, so speaking of how did he do that, how are we doing on your tips?
Okay, so we're on tip 3, which is use three-way lighting in ways that make sense. So the game gives you the option to turn on a three-way light setup and change the color of those lights however you want using whatever color palettes you have. So what I like to do, and this ties into the last one about backgrounds, if there's a light source within the scene, like maybe like a spotlight, or on the plains of Eidolon, maybe the sun, what I like to do is use the primary light to mimic the color of that light source in the scene and shine that on the warframe. And it adds more realism to the shot, because like if you see a light in the background and you see the light shining on the warframe, you'd be like, that makes sense. That makes sense for that to be there.
All right,
So
we're gonna try that right now. Do the thing, technology.
What's really funny, I think, is that I think you would be really good at real life photography, because these are all things that when you're doing real life photography, these are all the same things that you have to keep in mind. I think it would be really cool to one day see, you trying that too.
I'm totally not opposed to trying that. It's just very expensive.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing that's crazy, and that I love about virtual photography is that if you have a game that has it, you have a controller or whatever you're using to play it on, you don't need anything else.
Yep, exactly. It's a lot cheaper, and I think in a lot of ways you can get more interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, I'm definitely not opposed to trying real world photography eventually.
Mhm.
For now, I'm enjoying myself taking pictures of space aliens.
I love your pictures of space aliens. It's great.
Thank you.
I have a quick question for you, because I'm going to have to go here shortly.
Go for it.
And I already know this answer, but I just want to hear you say it. What is your favorite Warframe?
Volt.
Oh, I didn't know it then.
It's
Mag.
It used to be Mag. I used to take a lot of pictures of Mag, and with the induction helmet, which makes her look like a cyberpunk.
I love cyberpunk.
I'll pull her up real quick here.
But no, my favorite Warframe by far is Volt, and the Arrestor
Nice.
helmet is absolutely my favorite cosmetic in the entire game, and that's why I take so many pictures of it. I'm sorry, I love it so much.
I can't remember what the Arrestor helmet looks like. I have the Zinner skin set for Volt, and
so good.
Is the Arrestor helmet the one that looks kind of like a wasp?
Yeah, it's the antenna.
Yes. So I pair that with my Zinner skin.
Oh my god, yes, it's so good.
You guys are talking so many different languages right now.
I'm sorry.
The Xener skin and the Arrestor helmet are made by the same artist. His name is Reku.
Oh.
And that's why they look so good together. He makes
Gotcha.
really well textured mecha looking skins. I love his stuff. He's coming out with a skin for Gauss soon, and it's going to be absolutely bonkers. Can't wait.
Nice.
I'm looking for my Volt.
Now, Gauss is a new Warframe that came out not long ago. Out of the new Warframes, what are some of the ones that you like?
I love Gauss. I think his gameplay is really fun. I think he's like, when he came out, his people were like, oh, his thing is that he runs fast. He's just gonna be another Volt. But no, he plays completely differently. His aesthetic is totally different. Very techy and very streamlined. And I think he has a lot of potential.
Get him.
Yeah, he's really.
I've got to
cool.
get him.
Definitely recommend.
Well, I have to leave.
That's
I don't
unfortunate.
Want to leave this conversation. Can I just call out of work and say that I'm sick?
Yes.
They won't let me come to work if I say I'm sick.
Wait, tell them you're running a temperature.
They won't believe me.
Well,
They'll be
you
like, you lie.
You are running a temperature. I mean, it just happens to be 98.7.
Well, that's true. That's true. I could say that. That is not a lie, if you put it that way. But
But you have too much
great.
honor and integrity, so.
Oh yeah. Why do I have to have honor and integrity?
Such a burden.
But it's been great chatting with you, and let's chat again soon.
Absolutely,
And I will be listening to the rest of your tips because I'm curious. So,
All right,
and I
thanks
don't
for
know.
talking.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye guys. Have a great day.
Bye,
Bye.
Lady Snipe Shot. All right. So we are on tip 3. Well, we
Yeah,
did
that was
tip
the
3.
lighting.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
lighting. Let's talk about tip 4.
All right. Tip 4 is goes back to theming. It's basically it doubles down on that and saying theming can lead to more memorable shots in a lot of different ways. So if you go into a capture a session with a theme in mind, or even when you're just like making a fashion for your Warframe, since the aesthetic of all the cosmetics is so open-ended, you can basically do anything you want. And then once you take that theme and then follow it through from the arsenal, making your Warframe look how you want, to the capture scene, to the pose, to like the personality, it really goes a long way towards telling a story with the shot. And I think like in a lot of different ways, stories lead to more memorable experiences.
So let's talk about a theme with a theme with a Warframe. Right now, I've got Valkyr up.
Okay.
How could we theme Valkyr? I'm gonna take everything off of her here. Oh, there's one. How do we theme a Warframe?
So a lot of it has to do with what cosmetics you choose, the colors, but you can delve into that Warframe specific, like specific theme and the lore behind them if you really want to like get something more tied to the game itself. Valkyr is a berserker Warframe. She's kind of a tortured soul. She was experimented on and warped by it. So, like obviously that's like yeah, her base scene, like if you look at her how she looks normally, she's got stuff sticking out. She's got things tied to her wrists, like she was manacled. Her helmet looks kind of messed up a little bit. And if you wanted to double down on that theme, some of her skins also go towards making her look a little bit tortured, I guess. I think the Delusion skin has like rips and tears on it.
Here, let's take a look. Skin, just illusion skin. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So if you wanted to maybe take that idea and then run with it, you can put her in like this is like the perfect scene for her, obviously, because this is where she would I guess born.
On.
Yeah, like as she is now. So if you wanted to, you could have her colors kind of like match either the environment, or you can have them be like in contrast to it. And that's another thing I like to try to do is make the colors kind of cohesive from scene to Warframe. And that's a big part of deciding on where I'm gonna go in a capture, besides just the theming. Sometimes the theming could just boil down to this Warframe makes sense color-wise against this backdrop.
Okay. All right. So we got Valkyr. She's in her spot. To be honest, I am not a fan of this coloration in in here. So I could, like, let's say I'm just starting out. I'm not a. I don't have any skins for her. I don't have any extra helmets for her. I could start with just like what are the colors that are going on here, right? Is that what you're saying?
You cut out a little bit, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I might start with these are the colors that are that make up the scene. So I might go with those.
Yeah, you can go based on those and like see since this is where she's experimented on, and maybe the corpus would want to like kind of morph her into what their idea of a killing machine would be. You could use some of their palettes, some of them as for inspiration. I know a lot of my friends, what they'll do is they'll look at existing things in the game and then draw colors from them. So like what I did with a Volt shot that I did a bit ago is I made him look like a weapon, Staticore. I took
Oh,
the colors from that weapon and put them on the frame. That's actually an idea I got from my friend Emu Ruby, who also does amazing stuff with on that front and with Capture in general. Yeah, there are a lot, since there are a lot of different aspects of the game to draw inspiration from. It's so open ended. You can do so much.
so when it comes to color palettes, do you
Yes.
prefer? And I'm probably getting off of the train of thought that you were going.
Oh no problem.
But when it comes to color palettes, do you do like the ostentatious, bright colors, or do you do like, hey, let's keep it to a minimum there, buddy?
I tend towards things that kind of like make sense for the theme I'm going for, or if I want to use like a specific color, I'll maybe choose like, okay, I want this shot to be more green than anything else, and then I'll make the fashion based on that concept. So like usually I'll end up using metallics that make sense to be metallic, like gold or copper or bronze. And for the main colors, I'll have more muted stuff for the primaries and secondaries, and
Okay.
then for like the accent colors that aren't actually just the accents, make those more colorful. And you get like, if you get like a good balance going on, then the fashion itself stands on its own even outside of this. And I think that's important for a lot of people, because when a lot of capture artists post shots, they'll get questions like, oh, what are the colors that you use?
Right.
And I think it's cool to have fashions that people would want to ask for, or want to use like in their own sessions, that look good like everywhere, not just in the context of the shot, but across all of the maps of the game. Like obviously that's not going to happen all the time, but it's definitely something that you can do.
Okay.
Sorry for rambling.
No, this is fantastic. This is great. I know that there are a couple people in the chat, Rob in particular, who are now looking at playing more Warframe and trying to get into the photo mode, or Captura, guys, Captura. What other tips do you have?
I only have one more actual tip, and it's not so much tied to the game itself as strive for your best, but know when to take a step, know when to give yourself time to breathe and get a little bit more inspiration. It's a hobby. If it's stressful at any point, or you feel uninspired and frustrated, then you should take a break. You should maybe like do anything else. Maybe you'll stumble on something that should you can draw inspiration from. But basically, yeah, just chill out. Inspiration is fickle; it'll come. Don't force it.
When
And I think,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, go for it. Go for it.
When you we talk about inspiration, like for your weaponry, do you find yourself matching the exact colors of the exact theme of your Warframe, or do you change that up?
It depends on again the theme. Also, I don't actually have like a huge amount of weapons in the game, and also there are not a lot of weapons that I like the appearance of. So a lot of the times I will just have the weapon copy the Warframe's colors just to get it out of the way. But there are some weapons that don't take colors very well, so I'll have to go in and specifically choose which colors. Like I know for a lot of people like to make their rhinos look like Doom Guy.
Yes.
And yes, and if he's green and like maybe brown in some places, gray, that won't translate incredibly realistically to the actual weaponry that you're using. So it can be cool to go like look at the Doom weapons themselves from that game,
Yeah.
and then color the corresponding weapons like that. Like the Tigris is a double-barreled shotgun in Warframe, and you can maybe look at how the double-barreled shotgun looks in Doom, and then color it based on that. So there are definitely things you can do. I don't always do that kind of thing when I'm coloring the weapons. Usually I'm just copying it to the Warframe, or
Yeah.
in the case of the Staticore Volt, making the Warframe look like the weapon. So
Nice.
definitely, yeah.
Now, your tip, I just used your tip right now about kind of going with the theme of the scene that you've chosen with Valkyr. And
Yeah.
and I use just I didn't put any Cyandanas, no attachments on yet or anything like that. And that alone, that little tip alone, I like this skin now. the base skin, because what I did is I used a lot of the light metal type feel, but then because she was tortured and kind of made to go a little crazy here, I went with a little crazy orange-ish, and then red, because, fleshed out and stuff like that. So, that's a great idea. Oh, good Lord, that concept.
That's a good color scheme. It matches the scene pretty well, too.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Oh, that's really good. All right, so do you ever, and I've just started doing this, do you ever add enemies to your scenes and play around with that?
So, sometimes, and it honestly, it again depends on what I'm going for.
Right.
But they're very hard to control a lot of time. But here's like an extra tip. If you want to mess with enemies and put them in specific locations, Loki has an ability called Switch Teleport that can change his position with an enemy.
Oh, wow.
So if you pause the enemies, in Capture, you can have the enemies just be static.
Mm-hmm.
If you use Loki's Switch Teleport, you can basically position them wherever you want.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so that's if you really want to use enemies and put them in specific locations, that's a good way to do so. Another way that I've used enemies in the past is Mesa, the gunslinger Warframe, has an ability called Peacemaker, where she takes out these guns and just rapid fires at enemies. But you need enemies to shoot at in order to activate it, or to have her do the shooting animation. So what I'll do is I'll spawn really high health enemies off screen, and then have her shoot at it, and then take pictures of her shooting. And obviously, like, you wouldn't be able to see the enemies, but they're what let you actually get
so
that shot.
Can you actually choose where your enemies are spawned?
No, it's totally random, and I have no idea whenever I spawn enemies where they're going to show up, which is why the Loki trick is so useful, because you can just you can pause them, find wherever they are, and then just switch teleport to drag them wherever you need.
Nice.
Like this goes back to just Capture being a huge mess, and it's a crapshoot a lot of the time.
We have a question in the chat from Lady Snipeshot, who should be getting ready for work. It says, "I'm still here. Got a question. How do you feel about post editing?"
So, for my purposes, the only amount of post editing that I'll do is maybe some Photoshop to fix clipping issues. Like if like a piece of maybe the Syandana, the cape, is cutting through an arm or something, and it's easily fixable in post, I'll maybe edit that out just so that the image looks cleaner. I know maybe sometimes I'll add more vibrance to the shot, or decrease it. That's also stuff that Reshade can do.
Right.
But when it comes to some things that people do, which is just drastic edits, the Warframe is in a completely different environment. It's basically they green screen them into somewhere else. I think that goes a bit further than what I would consider Captura. It's still an art form, and it's still its own type of talent involved, and it's own, but I think it's in its own sphere. I think comparing heavily edited shots to stuff taken right from the game is a bit different, because the limits don't exist
Exactly.
that exist in regular Capture. And part of the reason why I enjoy finding certain shots in regular Capture is because it's a challenge, because you have to hunt around for that stuff. So again, it's not I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just different. But when it comes to like tiny post editing fixes that just make the shot cleaner and in general and just make it look better, I have no issue with that.
Right.
People should be able to do that.
I am a color and like minor color and definitely contrast guy, because when it comes to console, you lose some of that contrast. So then I personally I boost the contrast a little bit, and then I work with the curves, and maybe a boost in color. But contrast, actually, when you mess with the contrast and the curves, that actually ends up boosting the colors. So yeah,
I absolutely think that for console especially, it can be better to do post editing, because like I said, I use Reshade, which is an external program for depth of field.
yes,
Wanted that in console, you would have to take it into Photoshop afterwards and then blur the background there. And some shots like you want that depth of field, like it would add to the shot. So definitely don't limit yourself in that way. I think it's best to get the best shot that you possibly can, and that should be the priority.
you're right. All right, you guys. If you've got questions for Purple Flurp or myself when it comes to this Captura, go ahead and put them in chat, you guys. We are all about answering the questions, helping people out, getting better at what they do. Guys, 30 seconds of him talking, and I found that I am okay with this base skin because of the coloration of it. Oh. And
You got to keep in mind, like every single Warframe that comes out that's new doesn't have any skins. Like they have an alternate helmet, and that's the most you can do in terms of skin customization. So at the very least, base Warframes will look solid.
yes.
So definitely worth playing around with. Definitely don't discount the power of the default skin.
How do you feel about what's Purple's favorite color?
Actually, the British Racing Green is my favorite color.
British Racing Green. Now,
Yes.
tell us a little bit, and I gotta ask. I think I know. Tell us about the name Purple Flurp. Where'd that come from?
So I was on a whim because I wanted like a new username, and Jimmy Neutron is one of my favorite cartoons growing up. So,
Yes. Okay. Awesome. All right. Spot on.
that's basically it. And once I started Captura and started like getting my socials around, I was like, okay, maybe Purple Flurp wasn't the best choice of username. But it's stuck now, so
Yes.
rip me.
Oh man, that was from Jesse. Jesse always has like the basic. He loves like just I want to know this person as a person. I don't need to know about the gametography piece. Just talk to me as a person. I love Jesse.
The colors are important. I think I value color more than probably any other aspect in terms of what I like to see in a shot.
Now,
color cohesion.
you do a lot. You do quite a bit of portrait orientation.
Yeah.
Why is that versus the landscape orientation?
So, I like showcasing the fashion that I put time into. I think a lot of my stuff is very much centralized on how the fashion looks, what cosmetics I've decided to use for the character. And what portrait mode allows me to do is get as much of the Warframe into the shot as possible. And I like making the back, like I think in general, putting the focus on the Warframe when so much like time has been put into the fashion is the best thing to do. I like landscape shots as well.
Right.
If the background can add to it in a super meaningful way, or I just can't fit what I want into a portrait shot. But in general, that's why I like portrait shots, because it gets as much of the frame as possible in the picture.
Nice. Disney Disney Gamer asked, what upcoming 2020 games are you excited to do photography in?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if Doom Eternal is going to have a photo mode, but if it does, I will probably be doing that. Because the Doom 2015 or whenever the first one came out does have a photo mode, but it doesn't have Doom Guy as a model that you can take pictures of, and that takes a lot of the fun out of it for me because I want to take pictures of him.
Right. Have you played many of the Halo games yet?
No, I've actually never played a Halo game in my life. Growing up, I was very like sheltered from video games. I wasn't really allowed to play them.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely something I could check out eventually.
Yeah, I would definitely check out the Halo games. They have a replay mode, and you can just fly around the map while it's paused and catch things while it's in battle. And
oh, sick.
Yeah, it's like the replay mode, kind of like with how you have Fortnite or Overwatch that has the replay mode. But yeah. Question. By the way, Tim Paulin is here. Okay, that's for you, Timmy. Timmy. What question from Sam, who always is inspiring to me with her. Oh my gosh! Just stop asking the question, Sam. Keep asking the question, Sam. She asks, "What inspires and motivates you?" Question for both. I'm gonna let our guest go first.
All right. Inspires and motivates me. Like I said before, this is basically the first time in my life that I've been able to express myself through a visual medium, and I think being able to project what I see in my head onto and then show it to other people, that is what inspires and motivates me. I like being able to showcase my ideas, and have people be like, "Oh wow, I enjoy that," and
Nice.
Feels good.
Nice. All right. What inspires and motivates me? I would say, and this is gonna sound freaking cheesy, and I know it, but the virtual photography community as a whole, gametographers specifically, you guys are what inspires me, because I look at your work and I think, God freaking darn it, I suck. I need to get better. Let's do this. Let's go. And sometimes I hit the mark, sometimes I don't. But I think that you guys are what does that for me. You guys see things in a different way than I do. That I'm like, oh, you Brady Bunch me. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that term, but being Brady Bunched. It's when you realize there was a way that could be thought of something that you never thought of, and you automatically say, I never thought of it that way. So, you guys, I mean, and Jesse, who doesn't do a lot of gametography, is joking in here saying, I'm Lem's muse. What's funny is Jesse pushes me. He does. He pushes me. Always asks the questions that I would have never even thought of. Like, so, or, he goes back to basics and says, this. And I'm like, oh, dang it, Jesse. Freaking Jesse. Oh, man. So that's, I like I said, I know it's cheesy, but it's true, so.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think I see things every single day in the Captura community that impress me and make me want to keep improving and keep fostering the community in general, because it is pretty small, like all things considered. Like if you like inundate yourself in it and you're like constantly at it and you're constantly making stuff and looking at other people's stuff, it can seem a lot bigger than it actually is.
Yeah.
And I think I'm all for getting more people into it, getting more people inspired to do their best. Because everyone, like you said, everyone has a different perspective, and the more people who take part in this, the more likely you'll see a bunch of different things that will continue to impress you, which is
Right.
cool.
Awesome. All right, everybody. We are over our time. Of course we are. Of course we are. When have we not been? This is what we do. Guys, I want to thank all of you for stopping in. I want to thank, I believe it was Disney Gamer, came in and dropped that gift sub to Cats and Bolts. I want to thank Lady Snipeshot for being here. You guys, you can find Lady Snipeshot as Lady_Snipeshot pretty much everywhere. And Purple Flurp, where can they find you?
On Instagram, I'm Purple Flurp Captura. On Twitter, I'm Purple Flurp WF. And I have a Reddit account, but it doesn't have my actual name on it, or Purple Flurp on it. It's Pacading, Pacading. That's where a lot of my stuff ends up living. Mostly Instagram though.
Nice. You guys, this has been so awesome. If you want to support what we do here to continue on with Gametography, showing this as an art form, you can go ahead and go over to Patreon and give us a little support there. You can, of course, do subs here, donations once it works. Well, Thrift Dude, what's up, Will? Will popping in. Don't drink the perp. You can check us out there. If you guys want to join in on the conversation, I think what I'm going to do, we haven't done this in so long, guys. We're going to go into the general chat in Discord after. I want to invite all of you that are interested in Gametography and maybe having more conversations with it. Join the Discord. Wait 10 minutes and then you can join the general chat. Make sure you read the rules. Check that out. If you want to pick up some Gametography merch, guys, we actually have a merch shop. I don't know if you knew this. We have a merch shop. Go check it out. Grab a t-shirt, grab a sticker, grab a mug, and show that support out there, you guys. Thank you for being here. Bad Gamers Unite. And remember, if I can do it, you can do it. Peace.